Afternoon, everybody. Today we're going to be doing my version of a joiner's mallet. Here's the finished product. Stick with me on the steps. Okay guys, today I'm doing my version of a jointer's mallet. I'm doing this out of a piece of teak. This was a piece of wood on a boat that sank during Hurricane Ike and washed up, and one of my buddies salvaged it, and gonna make a joiner's hammer out of it. I started off by ripping down one square edge, took that off, and then I ripped it down to 3 inches. Then I split it, and then I split it one more time and doing 5-inch segments. Okay, here I've got them laid out. I had on this side I had screwed up my my layout, and I went 5 inches. Well, that doesn't leave me enough room for my split shot, my holes in my split shots. So I went ahead and added an inch to the overall length of the mallet, and this is real close to what we're going to be looking at. I drew a line here. This is a square line, and I just moved over 1/8 of an inch on each side, and that's going to be my bevel. Now this is going to be the top of the hammer. The handle is going to come in this way, and then I'll put in a wedge and wedge that open, so the handle will never be able to come off that way. Or in theory, not supposed to come off. Now my fence. Okay. Go ahead. Now my fence was set up to the 6 inches, what I want, so that's why I use the table saw for that. Okay, here I've got it laid out. I found the center of my block minus my 1/8 inch, so it was 2 1/4, so 1 1/8, split down the middle. Then I came in off of here 1 inch on each side, and I did some layout here, but I screwed up, so that's why my circle marks. I'm fixing to drill them out. Now the reason I'm drilling this out now instead of cutting it and drilling it, because the small little pieces would be a nightmare to hold on to. So damn thick and dense. There we go. We'll take a saw, cut in between, but I won't film that. We don't need to be bothered with all that, watching all that. Okay. Go ahead and sanding them down. I went ahead and marked the top and end because I'm an idiot and I will confuse them and have them all screwed up. So I'm cleaning them up. I've already got this edge cleaned up. This is the angled edge, and so obviously inside and top, and I'm just cleaning them up. When I ran them through the table saw, I got a little nipple, a little hickey there, and I'm just cleaning them up. Now, how I'm doing that, I'm sanding in all 4 directions. See, I still got a little hickey there. Now you probably can't see it, but so I go back and sand in all 4 directions again. That'll ensure it's a flat surface. There you go. That versus that. Now once this is all said and done and I get this glued on my piece, my backer piece, I'll show that in a second. I'm not 100% sure that these are the same size, so when that's glued onto my backer piece, I will go ahead and run this through again. That way I'll ensure that I'm even. I'll probably get well, I don't need to get a mic gauge. We're not going to get that delicate into it, but I'm probably a couple thousandths off. But I'll go ahead and, like I said, once I get these glued on the backer piece, I'll run them across to ensure they're the same width. But I'm happy with that. Okay, here we go. We're getting the basic idea of it now. I'm going to go ahead and glue, glue. I'll pour my split shot in. Well, I'm not going to pour my split shot in because that's pointless. I'm going to glue it down. I'll pinch them down and let them set overnight. And then we'll pour the split shot in and do it. Well, I'll have to, like I said, I'll have to sand this side first, then pour the split shot in, and then cap it off. But that's the basic idea, and then that's where we're going to hold off. Once I get it glued, I'll go ahead and show that. But once we get to that, I think we're going to take a break overnight. Anyways, there you have it. Okay, here we are, folks. Got it glued up, one-sided. I went ahead, I told you I was going to sand this. I went ahead and sanded it. God, I'm pretty happy with how smooth it is. It's not bad. Go ahead and fill it with some shot, glue it up. When I cut this, I saved this middle piece. A lot of guys will just cut smaller pieces. Well, I cut the center out of one of these. The reason I did that, cut that piece, is when I want to put my handle in. Obviously, I'm not going to use that as a handle. When I want to put my handle in, I just have something to copy. Next thing, what am I going to use for shot? It's a shotgun shell, 12 gauge shotgun shell. More than likely, if you're watching my videos, you're redneck enough to know or have a shotgun. You can cut them up yourself. If not, you probably know a redneck that's got a shotgun. Ask him for a couple shells. Anyways, simply take your knife, cut the top off. Dumps in. Simple as that. One thing to keep in mind is the shots have gone to steel in some places. I'm not 100% sure on what all is steel and what is still lead. Simple, easy way is basically just take the lead shot and crimp it with a pair of pliers. If it squishes, it's lead. Dispose of your powder correctly. Don't leave it around for the kids to play with. Second verse, same as the first until you fill it up. I've happened to went ahead and done several shells, and I've got a stockpile. So I'm going to go ahead and fill up as necessary. Okay. Now we're filled up. Quite heavy actually too. I'm going to go ahead and surface this side. Be the same thing as I did on the other. Glue it in. I'll get back to you when I start putting the handle in. As it turns out, me saving this piece in the middle like I was just bragging about on myself is completely pointless. Because I'm not going to cut the handle at an angle like that. I'm going to cut it at one size and drive wedges in it. So you can cut and save that if you want, but I think it's pointless. So disregard that. Use the leftovers for knife handle blanks. Something along the lines of that. Okay, I hope y'all can see that. The blade, it's a couple degree bevel against the rip fence. Now the reason doing that, now granted, these lines are very exaggerated, just so you get the point. But I'm going to do a light bevel, ease over the edges, and then I potentially will round them over. I might router them, I don't know what I'm going to do with it yet. I'm going to run this through, bevel them, and see what it turns out like. Play it by ear. And there we have it. Pretty close to the desired effect. Let's sand it down and see what we come up with. Stick with me. Got it sanded down. This is just a real rough sanding. Probably somewhere in the neighborhood of 100 grit. I just did it on my belt grinder. I've decided that the handle's just a little too robust. I've got a rough line here and pencil. I'm gonna go ahead and cut it out. Now what I'm planning on doing is leaving that bulb on the end of it. I think it's gonna look cool. It's also gonna be, I think it's gonna work well. Anyways, I'll go ahead and cut them out. I'm not gonna bother y'all with filming the cut. You see me cut the other one, you get the idea. I'm running thin on time. Got the handle roughed out on the bandsaw. You can see it's real rough and bad. It's gonna take me quite a bit of sanding. I might even get after it with a spoke shave. I won't bore y'all with that. After about 15 minutes of sanding, I got it close. Now I'm gonna spend the next hour hand sanding. I'll spare y'all. Here's my version, unfinished. Two. Thanks again for that idea, Jimmy DeResta. Sheer genius. My version of the joiner's mallet. Hope y'all enjoyed. On a side note, I'd like to thank all you woodworkers, YouTube woodworkers out there who make videos every week. A lot of you have inspired me to get back into woodworking. As y'all know, I'm a fireman full time, and for 20 years, well, 15 years, going on 20 now, I was a framer. I never did fine woodworking, I guess you'd say. I made some cabinets and stuff like that, but for the most part I was a hack framer. This is a pain in the butt, filming, doing woodwork. For all you woodworkers or YouTube woodworkers out there, I appreciate everything y'all do. You'll have a lot of dedication that goes into this, and that's great. It's awesome that y'all do this. I hope y'all make millions off YouTube doing it. I really do, with all sincerity. Any hoots. Cheers. Where am I going to put this thing? No. 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 Perfect. Just kidding, guys. Have a good one.